Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel, Jane Lorenzo.
Wait, what did you say?
Jane Lorenzo.
Have a good one.
You guys better subscribe and watch my friend on his YouTube channel. He is kicking ass.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Van Helsing on Syfy, which was episode 5 of season 3 called Pretty Noose. So yeah, watch this episode as soon as I could. As always, feel bad that I can't really watch this show live because I work pretty much every Friday. But as soon as I get up the next day, I check on demand, flip it on as soon as I get out of bed, pretty much. And I do what I can to talk about it as much as I can on social media and everything. But please, if you have the chance, watch the show live or talk about it like all hell on social media, because we need to get the show buzzing, because it is awesome and it has just a lot of great elements going for it that make it, in my opinion, one of the best shows on TV today. And this episode I liked, I shouldn't count on every episode being my favorite of the season, and my favorite of the season is still probably Super Unknown. But still, this continued the thread that the season's, kind of letting more and more out, and I liked the change of scenery. We see Denver, we see more of San Francisco and everything, kind of getting back into the city with Vanessa, Axel, and Scarlett. So the show, despite its budget, it's giving us almost like a bigger scale. It feels like a growing story that they're trying to tell, and they're succeeding with it. And we see before we get to the Vanessa stuff and everything, we had Julius, Doc, Jolene, and Flesh, who you better be calling him Philip, taken into this community and everything. So that should be pretty interesting to see in the previews next week. Philip, or Flesh, is not handling it very well. He still has a lot of psychological damage. And then what happened with Lucky and everything. And he's still kind of holding, resentment towards Julius because of that, and because of, their former vampiric relationship. Julius is trying to be more upbeat, sort of more optimistic and everything, but Flesh isn't going for it. But they didn't get a whole lot of concentration this week. That mainly fell to Doc and Jolene, and I like the relationship. It was good to see Rukia Bernard, sort of dive a little bit deeper into that, again, that troubled psyche of Doc, but we found out more about her this week, that she's never actually, been with anyone before she's a virgin, which I think adds an interesting, but yet kind of fitting dynamic to the character, if that's the right way to say it. And I do think her and Julian's relationship is pretty nice. Hopefully it's not doomed yet. I'm definitely willing to see where that goes. But, it feels natural. They've built it up since, the previous season and everything. So it doesn't feel like a sudden, oh, look at this type thing either. So I'm fine with that so far. Rukia Bernard, again, just knocked out of the park with, sort of just almost that near meltdown that Doc had when she told Jolene about it when she was leaving. So that was one of the better scenes of the episode. And then back in San Francisco, of course, we have Vanessa and, Scarlett and Axel, trying to look for the Ba. They run into what's left of a small military unit, and it was kind of nice to see Axel embrace sort of that military or marine type leadership role again, and Vanessa and Scarlett allow him to go off on his own to help them track down more of the squad, because they don't think they need him as much as they do. But I don't know, I got the idea, but I don't know if it was a good idea to separate like that, and clearly it wasn't. Of course, Axel and the troops end up encountering the Ba themselves instead of Vanessa. Vanessa, though, finds, the crates and, where they're probably taken and released and everything like that. Axel meets the Ba first, at least in present day. And we say is going through yet another degree of torture in next week's episode. And we got a pretty good fight scene. I like how it was choreographed this week with the the ancient, the vampire, samurai types that we've seen in the flashback, dream type episode that Vanessa was in. So you see Scarlet and Vanessa both take him on. I thought it was fitting with how both characters did in those fights. Vanessa's had experience fighting these types. Scarlet hasn't. Vanessa, of course, is stronger because of, what's really been growing inside her. And so Vanessa manages to eventually just, slaughter each of them. Her eyes flare red, which is always cool. She impales a few of them with her own weapons, which is awesome. Scarlet, though, is hit and poisoned, so she's out for the episode. But yeah, I thought it was funny that Scarlet was worried about Vanessa going on her own, and then she's the one that gets laid out like that. No, you're the one that's kind of the weaker link here. But again, I know I feel like I put down Scarlet a little bit too much, but she's fitting, and she seems pretty reluctant to let Axel go, but she's also sort of happy to see him sort of embracing sort of that earlier part of himself again. And definitely a good setup for next week. I think the Elder is going to be around for longer than a couple episodes. Or I mean the Ba, but we'll see. And they also figured out that the Elder they were with had probably set this up to awaken the Ba to kill them because he couldn't. Which is, most likely true. But yeah, another good episode, and I'm rating this one about an 8.9 out of 10. And again, I feel like I should be supporting this more. I wish I could watch it live. I wish I could call into work. Or I wish I could get my schedule switched around or something. But really, again, if you guys have the chance to watch this, tell your friends about it, tweet about it, Instagram about it, whatever you can. So yeah, let me guys thought about this episode. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.